Hey everyone, this is Run They Got Guns. Today is March 20th, 2017. We're going to go ahead and get into episode, I believe this is now 42. I'm pretty sure it's 42. And if it's not, I'm sorry, I apologize. But today's episode, as I told you a little bit before, I'm going to be focusing on war cards. I'm actually going to... I don't know exactly how many war cards I have, and I don't know if I have exactly all of them. And I've done this in a previous episode. As far as, well, in the previous episode, I went ahead and got into just each individual war card. And in a couple of previous episodes, I've gotten into a few war card combinations. I've thought of a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, a couple more combinations of what I think work really, really well. As you know, before I told you about the rocket turret technique, which I call turret syndrome. It is basically a rocket turret, a heavy turret, and my friend turret all placed on the field at 3 different shields. It's key that you place them at 3 different shields, because if your opponent and or its enemy bazooka trooper or grenader hit the shield of which all 3 or even 2 of the turrets are at, it'll basically destroy it. Now, not only that, but after you deploy the 3 turrets at 3 different shields, you also want to stay at the shield that no turret is at, as to not draw enemy fire to that turret, so it won't destroy it prematurely. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start with bronze cards. Vehicle upgrade. In my honest opinion, vehicle upgrade, I don't really use it too much. Well, one, because I don't have too many vehicles. But vehicle upgrade is really good to use towards the end of a battle to make sure they stay in the fight for a little bit longer, especially if you have Cobra, which has a high rate of fire, and or Predator, which has a high rate of fire. Oh yes, also, before I forget, I need to tell you guys, Paralyze These does not work on a Warper. Does not. It will not work on the Warper. They'll still move around, they actually kind of glide around, and they still shoot. So it doesn't work on them, Just to let you know, I had that happen to me in a battle and didn't work out so well for me. The crates. A lot of my personal squad mates, they craft the crates into other, into silver war cards. But I keep them just whenever it's time to do a daily assignment where the mission is use a lot of crates, use a lot of cards. Sometimes it'll say play 28 war cards. I'll just take nothing but crates with me into the battles, and I'll go ahead and use them. Okay, Trigger Happy and Super Soldiers. I believe that those 2 cards used together, well, actually Trigger Happy, Super Soldiers, and Healing Storm are 3 bronze cards that can be used all together to create an army of massive amount of shooters. Basically, everybody turns into a shooter because their fire rate is increased dramatically and drastically. Trigger Happy is one of my favorite cards. Also, Plague is one of my favorite cards. One thing I have been noticing, and a lot of my a lot of my squad mates have been noticing, is that the bots are, way overpowered. I think I've covered this in a previous video too. They seem to be spawning a lot of gold cards, if not 2, maybe 3, sometimes even 4 when they're on VIP. If they do spawn a lot of gold cards, if you are facing a bot, and first of all, you really can't tell, going into the battle, because some of them have names, some of them just have Warfriend numbers. My personal opinion is keep a Plague and or a Sickness handy. Sickness, removes 50% of health and the damage from the next deployed troops, and Plague poisons everything on the field. So say they spawn, I've seen this before myself, where they spawn a rat-a-tat-tat, an elite swap team, and elite snipers pretty much all at once. You can just sit back behind your shields, use Plague, and let it take its toll on the soldiers, and that does a pretty good job. Minefield, as I said, you plant 3 lethal mines on the field. The only thing is, with Minefield, they go behind what is it called? The ramparts where shooters and or explosive ducks. It's not really placed anywhere where rushers run over, so In my personal opinion, that one's not really too good. I already showed you guys a technique where Kevlar for Everyone works with Elite Swap Team that gets them, much more powerful. Another technique that I thought of for higher ranking players, I don't know if anybody is higher ranking that watches my videos, but if you do, I believe a very, very, very strong war card tactic is basically you deploy meatheads, okay, which gives you extra 50% of health and 50% of damage to the next deployed troop. So first is meatheads, then you deploy flamethrower units. Once the flamethrower units are close to the opponent's shields, or if they're taking heavy fire, go ahead and use Healing Storm. Reason being, the Healing Storm will basically heal them, so it makes them all the way. It'll probably, hopefully, at least in theory, because I don't have flamethrower units to try it, but in theory, it will get them all the way down to, beyond the shields. And once they're beyond the shields, those things just wreak havoc. They have such a high shot damage, and of course, once they are shot and killed, they do at least 100% of the damage. And if you do use meatheads, it'll give them another 50% of the damage. So that's a pretty severe hit in my personal opinion. Let me see what else here. What else? Meatheads is also good when deployed with a Great Grenader, because the Great Grenader has. I don't see. There's another thing. I asked the developers for the Great Grenader shot damage, the Elite Paratrooper shot damage, the Rat-a-tat-tat shot damage, Mr. Big Rocket, the Elite Swap Team. I wanted to see. Excuse me. I wanted to see how much damage they do, and they haven't gotten back to me yet. They haven't gotten back to me on a few things, and like I said, as soon as they do, I'll pass along all that information for you, or to you guys. Alright, here's another thing. I was thinking about how is the way for a defensive war card strategy as far as health goes, okay? And what would give you the most health? Let me see if I have it. Okay, so basically, most people say, oh, well, you just use a gold med kit, a silver med kit, and or a bronze med kit. But in my personal opinion, okay, let's just go with math. All right, basically, let's say you're let's just, for easy numbers, let's say your health is 100. Okay, if you use Healthier Myself, immediately your health would go up to 110. Okay, because it increases your maximum health by 10% and heals 10% of the total health. Okay, so basically you would go to 110 full bar energy points. Okay, then if you use, that's one. Okay, then if you use in combination with that the gold med kit, which heals you from 25 to 35%. Oh, here's another thing that I've discovered, okay? Because a bot used it on me and it didn't work. Basically, a bot was going to die, okay? He had very low health. So he used the gold medkit. Here's the thing. It doesn't heal you instantly. It takes a while, so he actually ended up dying about, I'd say, 2 seconds after he used the gold medkit. So just keep that in mind, use it early if you're, kind of low on health. You don't want to. Like I said, he used it and it still killed him. And he used it and it was about 2 seconds. I'm sorry, 2 seconds after he used it, and he still died. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up. But okay, Healthier Myself will get you up to 110 health points. Let's say this one just goes to 30. We'll just cut it in half. Okay, 30%. So 30% would be 33. So then your total health would go up to, or not go up to, but you would be basically looking at a. Actually, okay, let me just blot that out. Basically, it would give you 33 health points whenever you use it, okay? So if we just add that together, that would be 143 total health points, okay? Then, there's 2 cards, okay? Next card, Kevlar Up, gives you 20% of your total health. So if you were to use that, that would give you another 20, what is it? 1/5, so 22 health points. So it would take you up to, what is it, 165 on total health points. And then the silver med kit, this one actually heals you instantly. So I know that the gold med kit will heal you for more, but it takes a while to actually do. It says, let me go ahead and tell you. See, it shows here. Well, first of all, let me give you the numbers. Use that as your fourth card. That's another 22 points. So that takes the total up to 187. So you have a total of 187 health points total with the med kits in that fashion. With Healthier Myself, Gold med kit, Kevlar up, and Silver med kit. So that'll give you the most health points. As I said, it won't increase it. Don't just use them all the way. You have to use them when you're actually damaged. But I'm just talking, straight numbers and straight math. Okay, so as you see on that Silver med kit, it heals you instantly. On the big med kit, the gold one, it heals you randomly from 25% to 35% of your total health during the next 15 seconds. So it's a delayed reaction for that one. And like I said, I've seen it myself. A bot used it on himself and he still died. He was close to death, and that was it. It finally killed him right away, pretty much. All right, let me go ahead and see. The small med kit heals you instantly for 10% of your total health. Here's another one that acts instantly. So just remember, guys, Silver med kit and Bronze med kit heal you instantly. Gold med kit takes a while. It's a delayed reaction. Let me see here. What else as far as war card combinations go? Okay, if any of you all have rhinos out there, here's a bot strategy that they do use. And it's a very good strategy in my personal opinion. After you deploy rhinos, you give them about 5 seconds to get on the field. Then you use freeze. You use freeze, and the enemy player can't move for the next 5 seconds. So basically, those 2 shots of the rhino, or of the rhinos, will basically definitely impact the opponent. Now, bots are using that, so if you are a high-level person that listens to my channel, I most definitely recommend that you keep a Swift Immortality handy once you get into, level, what is it, I believe 37 is when you start facing rhinos, 38 maybe. I don't know, remember exactly what level, but, they will use that tactic on you, so keep a Swift Immortality handy. When they do that, just hit Swift Immortality and, they can do whatever you want, then nothing will harm you. Here's another thing. A lot of people like airstrike as a cleaner of the field. Now, unfortunately, the only thing about airstrike is the energy goes back to the person. Cluster grenade. Those grenades do a lot of damage and pretty much wipe out the field. If they don't wipe out the field, they devastate it and decimate it to a pretty low level, and the energy doesn't go back to the player. So cluster grenade, in my personal opinion, to clear the field or to do some serious damage is also it's a better choice than airstrike, in my personal opinion. Rocket turret together with speed of slime, that is also a very good combination. Basically, you would have to deploy the rocket turret, move away from it as to not attract fire to it, and then use speed of slime as soon as you can select another war card, because I believe there is a cooldown level of about 5 seconds where you can't deploy any war cards. But alright, that's pretty much it. We're not going to get into any live attacks. I'm already at about 13 minutes. Everybody, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Y'all have a very blessed night. And most importantly, keep calm and war on. I'll talk to you guys later.